Okay, so if you can hear me, that's fine. Just get your cameras and your audio set up. Hi, Mark. Good to see you. We're going to start today's class from a very basic point of view. If you have Tai Chi experience before in the past, that's okay. We're going to approach this as a beginner class. So for those of you that have experience, I know Aaron's been practicing. Mark actually has a lot of martial arts experience. We're just going to review the very basics, the very beginning. First thing, can you guys hear me? You can just do like, give me some kind of a, yeah, okay, great. If you have any difficulty hearing, sometimes we're going to be moving around the space. Just give me some type of hand signal, something like that. In the meantime, Tai Chi is self-defense. So in all of our classes, with anything that we do, if you experience any pain, we're going to do a little bit of stretching. Anything in your body that needs to slow down. If you have pain is one of the body's ways of saying stop. So we need to make some type of adjustment. So I'm just going to teach straight through. If you have a question, you can ask questions freely. This is a very open kind of class. And if you have questions about whatever we're doing that come up later, you can email me later, right? So let's actually start with the most basic concept in Tai Chi. We're going to allow the feet to touch. And if you can see my feet at the bottom of the screen, they can be parallel and they can be all the way out to 45 degrees. Too much is too far, and you can keep them together. And then with the feet sitting, we want to relax the tailbone and push the head top up as if we're pushing our head top up, but keeping the chin tucked. Let your shoulders roll back and relax. And then breathing, we're going to bring the hands together in the center. So allow the base of the palms to rest. And then imagine like a piece of grass or a bamboo that your feet are rooted to the ground, but the head top is floating so that it's lightweight. Move your mind from wherever you think it is down into your center. And this posture in the Mandarin is called He Tai Chi, which means Tai Chi in harmony. So we want to do a calibration from the top. And every time you get into this posture, you can check the points. So starting from the crown chakra at the very top, moving downwards, we want to relax the brow. So you can wiggle your ears, wiggle your eyebrows a little bit to relax the brow and open the skin on the top of the head. And then relax the vision. If we were outside, we want to be practicing focusing as far into the distance as we can. Relax your jaw, and we want to let the tongue connect to the roof of the mouth. So if your teeth are in the front, as soft as you can, keeping the tongue connected to the upper palate. There's some acupuncture meridians that go through the front of the body and connect to the back. The tongue acts as a juncture between those points. And then also we want to keep the chin tucked. So while we're pushing our head top up, we can make ourselves a little bit taller with this, but then if we keep this tucked, we have the correct posture. We want to have the neck straight, but still have the curvature in the neck. Next, moving downwards, relax the shoulders. So allow your shoulders to roll back and relax. If you know where your shoulder blades are, imagine you have a pair of wings and you can simply allow them to rest, sinking downwards. We're going to use the center to support. So while we're standing, we're engaging the core. So it's light. We don't need to flex very much, but keeping this, that way we can keep the tailbone is tucked. So we don't want to have this out here. We can keep the tailbone is tucked. The insides of the hips are folding inwards. The knees are relaxed. We want to feel like the ankles are expanding so that there's power in the feet. And then activating the toes, grip the toes, and pronounce the arch on the bottom of the foot. So this first posture in the Mandarin called Tai Chi in harmony, and we use it like a calibration, like when you turn your computer on, when you start the car, the dials all come up and it tells you something is going on. This is also, we can use this for standing meditation. This posture, if you can really let your shoulders relax and imagine that your elbows are heavy, almost as if you have a weight, And that like a suspension bridge, these two pieces are resting together. And unlike vinyasa style yoga, we're not pressing the hands together. We're keeping them a little bit open. So there's a space in between for the energy to move. So this posture, you can relax, take a deep breath. This posture of He Tai Chi is the basis for everything that we do in the Tai Chi form, because our main focus for Tai Chi is the structure for the alignment. And so when you see people practicing Tai Chi and they're moving slowly, Tai Chi is about self-defense. So we can use it for martial arts, we can use it for yoga, but the very core of it is our center line. So when we go from Tai Chi Harmony, when we go to any other thing, we're going to continuously be looking at the point on the top of the head, crown chakra, and the point at the very base of the torso, which is the root chakra at the very bottom. So in this class, we're going to talk about lots of ideas for acupuncture. We're going to talk about lots of ideas for feng shui. Mostly it's going to be what's happening inside your body. The first two acupuncture channels coming up the top and then going down the bottom. So when you're standing in this posture, you should be able to feel, if you can relax your back and relax your knees, even if you're gripping the toes. There's people waiting. Even if you're gripping your toes, you can grip the toes in a way so that they're active without using a lot of force. We want to use our intention to make the change and not use the force. So take a deep breath, relax. We're going to do a little bit of warming up. Good morning, Charlotte. Hi, sorry I haven't been paying attention to the lobby, so thank you for your patience.
Sorry to be late.
The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of stretching. So now that we've got this idea for posture in mind, we want to keep that posture the whole time while we're working. And just like we calibrated from the top to bottom, we're going to do the same thing while stretching. So take a second. You can allow your feet to be in a more comfortable position. They can be together. Take your right hand, grab your left ear, and then push your head top up, reaching out to the side. Try to line up your fingers and your nose and this elbow all in one line. And so pull your elbow back, extend your fingers out. You may feel something strange in your fingertips, as if you're reaching through a glove, like you have one of those heavy cleaning gloves, and you can feel your fingertips growing through the end. Then take a deep breath and relax. Try the other side. Take the hand. You can hold the ear, push the neck straight, so because we can turn it and twist it. So pushing up through the back of the head top and then reaching out. Try to keep everything in line, not too far back, not too far forward. And if I turn, you see it's in one line this way. So the more you push up through the back of the head, pull the elbow directly to the side and reach through your fingertips, expanding all the way. And then take a deep breath, relax. The next thing that we're going to do is the head and neck. So we're going to find 4 positions. The first one is looking all the way up. And so the same thing, if you watch my profile, you can see when I'm looking up, that I can just turn my head this way, right? So I can tilt my head. But what I want you to do is imagine starting from the mid-back, when you look up, that you're pushing the whole spine up. So that's the first one. And then relax, come back to the center. And the second one is the same. We're going to look down. I want you to try to touch your chin to your sternum. But instead of just tilting my head like this from a pivot point right here, I want to start again from the mid-back and extending the whole thing like it's a chain that we can push up and over. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Leave the shoulders behind. And then come back to the center, looking all the way to the left. The same thing, extending the neck and then turning, looking all the way to the right. And then connect all 4 of those points. So looking up, looking left, look down, and look right. We could just say make head circles, but I want you to feel like you're pushing your head top through the diameter of the circle. so that you're making power to the head top the whole time you turn. And it should be relaxed. You should be able to feel your shoulders, your neck. Everybody has tension in the same place. Change directions if you haven't started turning the other way. And by the way, this is your workout. So if you like to take a little bit longer in one particular exercise, if something feels good, take your time and do that. If there's one area where you're stretching, you can also take the extra time to stretch that. So next, we're gonna do some shoulder rolls. So turning the shoulders again, if it's a circle, make the circle as large as possible, maintaining the correct structure. And again, this is with the breathing. And then change directions, the same thing. We can keep it relaxed. We can make the movement very large, but also very relaxed. So feel your collarbones, feel your shoulder blades. And then next, we're gonna do a little bit of turning at the waist. When we talk about a waist turn, in the Tai Chi form, there's a lot of this turning from the waist. And so when we talk about that, again, the primary is keeping the right posture, but then when we turn, we wanna use the soft tissue between the ribs and the top of the pelvis here. So this turning, we're gonna do an exercise where we're just turning this way. But if you watch, my hips and my jawline are always facing the camera. So take a comfortable stance, relax your tailbone, push the head top up, relax the shoulders, and just turning the midsection. Let your arms relax. In fact, imagine that you can send your hands on vacation and that they're floating. And so next, we want to have the same feeling. Keep the center line straight. And then we're going to shift the center line from one foot to the other, and the same feeling, so that the hands are floating. You want to feel like the blood is rushing to the end of your fingertips. So keep the head top up, relax the tailbone. And this one's kind of interesting, as if we're sinking. So while these are going up, the weight is actually sinking that way. So there's a twofold feeling. Just let everything completely relax, as if your hands are on a swing. And then we're going to change. We'll do another one, very similar to the first one. But this time, I want you to focus on the toe, because we're going to turn. Last time we said keep the hips and the jawline facing forward, just turning this midsection. But this next one, we're going to turn the whole body except the face this way. So you see my knee and my foot always staying aligned. So I don't want you to twist your knee this way. If my foot doesn't move, but my knee does, it's twisted. So turning. And then the same exercise, looking forward, breathing deep. Try to let your hands be in a state of free fall the whole time. And then we're going to do one more, which is if you take your left hand and you pat yourself on the back, and then you take your right hand and you also pat yourself on the back. So just like this, we'll do one side at a time. So one goes over and the other goes under. Over and under, and then we change. Let's try. What if I turn this way? So from here, if I turn, hit, and then when I turn, hit. Take a deep breath. Next, just turning the hips. Make some hip circles. So turning from the center. Again, grip your feet, pay attention to your posture, And we're going to do some Qigong. We're going to do some Qigong breathing in a minute. So you can do the breathing, change directions. Again, it's your workout, so go as fast or as slow as you like. Practice much or as little. When you bring your feet together, take a second to warm up your knees. So feel the heat from, you can use friction, pushing. And then take some time to hit your knees, just tapping. And lastly, we're going to turn the ankles. So just make a few circles. And then change to the other foot, turn some. Change directions, and then relax. So we've already talked about the first posture. In this class, for people that are joining a little bit later, we're going to keep these first classes as sort of a technical setup to make sure that everybody can hear, we can see everything. And the stuff that we review here, we will review again in September when regular classes start. So if there's details, and again, if you have experience, some people have been practicing for some time, just consider it a review. We can always return to the basics. So we've already talked about Tai Chi and harmony. This may seem like a very basic posture, but we use it again for the foundation for everything. So if we keep that same kind of center alignment, we've just done a little bit of warm up to get circulation moving. We're going to practice another exercise where we're stepping. But the goal for this kind of stepping is to keep the alignment in the structure that we had talked about. So pick a space that is your center, and we're going to find a geometric space underneath our body. If you step and you make your feet shoulder width wide, this shoulder width wide foundation is the basis for our structure in Tai Chi. We actually use a square step, but from here. And the shape is actually a very natural shape. We see it sometimes, people have tried to emulate this shape in very primitive sculpture. If you ever see an obelisk, if you take the proportions from your feet and it comes up to the shoulders and then from the shoulders to the head top, this structure, if we just stand, is the basic shape of an obelisk. And everyone has a different shape. Everyone has a different body. So you'll find the correct structure where you can stand effortlessly with the tailbone relaxed and the head top up. So now we have this shape, shoulder width wide. We're going to add one more, where if we step back and we also make that same distance shoulder width wide from the front. So if we have a square, if I use this corner of my carpet as a square, the rug, I can use the geometric shape. So we're going to use this concept for a little bit of exercise. And I don't know what the name is in Mandarin. Nobody here speaks Mandarin, right? Okay, that's fine, because my Mandarin is pretty choppy, but I will teach as much of it as I can because the original Chinese is very important. So we're going to do something called X-stepping. So from the center, wherever you're at in the center, we're going to step both shoulder width wide and shoulder width deep. And then just bring your foot back to the center. And then moving forward, we're going to step shoulder width wide and shoulder width deep. And then returning to the center. And now the same for the next corner, forward. And then stepping to the center. And one more, back to the corner. So we're going to practice this exercise for a little bit. This is going to be our sort of warm up. So stepping from one corner, forward, forward, left. I'm going to turn and change direction so you can see what I'm doing. And the whole time that we're doing this, we want to keep that correct alignment. So one of the goals for Tai Chi is to achieve balance. And the picture of the Tai Chi symbol is a balance. We have this type of marking, yin and yang. And in the body, what that looks like, it means one leg is strong enough to support, while the other leg and the rest of the body is free to do something. Even if we like to make a power, we shouldn't lose balance. So continuing with X-stepping, when we start, if you're facing this direction, step rear left. And imagine that your pelvis is on a tray or a track so that it stays at the same level the whole time. Forward, return, center. So this is a pattern. You guys can see the pattern. Some of you have studied this before. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to practice balancing. So that now that we see the pattern, we call it X stepping because we stay in the center of the X and we find this geometric square. The next thing is we're going to practice balancing when we're on one leg. So from the center, when you start, again, we want to try to maintain the correct posture so that as we're moving, like as if you're carrying something, a tray, and it's filled with lots of things, we want to keep the pelvis stable and steady so that nothing above it is disturbed, no matter whether we cross step. And even if we change to something, a very low or deep stance, we're always maintaining that posture. So now from the center, line yourself up and then step back from the corner, grip your feet and balance. And then center, grip your foot, and then forward. Center. When you step forward, grip your foot, relax your tailbone, and push your head top up. Go back to the center, forward left, grip, balance, return, rear right, grip the ground, step. When you come back to the center, take a deep breath, relax. So the next thing that we're going to do, what I'm doing right now is I'm breaking down all of the Tai Chi components into very basic. We have the center line. And then we have how we move that center line is using this very basic X stepping. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the arms. We're going to do a very basic exercise. You can relax, take a comfortable stance, take a deep breath, and imagine that you're turning a ball, that you have a beach ball, a basketball, a yoga ball, whatever you like to turn. And we want to keep the hands pointing towards each other. So with this exercise, if you see, my palms always facing each other. And we can make this, the most simple is if you're holding the ball sideways as such. And the most complex, so we can turn the ball this way, just like we're turning from the corners. Imagine like a mime or a break dance or something, you have a ball. The next one is if you take your middle fingers and you run them right up your center line. So this one coming up the center this way, and this one going down the center here, they turn. So this is sort of the most extreme, and then this is the most easy. You can practice even turning all around it this way. So this is a good chance if you are interested in contact juggling, right? Any of these kind of things. But the real purpose for this exercise is to coordinate hand-to-hand the sensitivity between your hands, the coordination between your hands, not hand-to-hand combat. We can get to that, but knowing when one hand is doing and what the other one is doing. So the slower, the better. And for everybody, it looks like everybody, be careful of this. When we get here, we don't want the back of the palm. And the more that you can imagine that the sphere is real, so that we don't have things going inside of that sphere. So the very basic is just turning along the center line. But you can imagine going all the way around it. Try to keep your palms facing each other. One thing that will help, and you can practice this when you practice another time, If you use something larger than a pencil or a chopstick or a pen, if you put one on your palm this way, you can actually practice this way. You don't need it. You can practice the coordination while you do this. You can make it very small if you let your fingertips touch and turn the ball this way. And if you make it very large, as if you're holding a very large one, you have to make your legs accommodate the shape, right? So this sort of sphere is one of the concepts for the arms in Tai Chi. And the last one is a sort of movement, the quality and the rate of movement. So we call this silk reeling. And the idea is we're just shifting between one foot and the other foot. And what the arms are doing is, imagine you go through a curtain, right? Sometimes in the store, they have the plastic panels. The meat locker has a plastic panels. Or if you see the Matrix, when they go to the Oracle, they have the curtain with the beads. Imagine that you have to open a heavy curtain with your forearm. And we're gonna press from the opposite heel. So if I'm pressing to the left, I wanna feel this foot press out to the side. And then as I change, it's stable in the center. And then there's power expanding to both sides. So breathing deep. And again, we like the hands to be as coordinated as possible. Fortunately, for these Zoom classes, you can see yourself. Some people have very complex camera setup. You can see here, keep working. You can see here, I use a very basic one. I use a mirror, right? So just off screen, I can always check my posture and my form. So for this one, the silk reeling, keep power as if you have to press against something, and then you're pressing against something on this side. So even though it looks like it's very soft and smooth, you're generating internal power. So relax your tailbone, extend your head top. You can combine this with the breathing if you like. Try to keep the arms round as if you're containing maybe a very large sphere, a very large circular shape. And you can imagine pushing. Here we have a bag. So this is a heavy bag. The feeling is that we can push this away and keeping the pressure as well. So while you're working, feel like as you're pushing on this side, you could still keep, if any of you have children or see little children playing, siblings, when they're pushing, imagine you have two people pushing from either side. So as you open the curtain here, you have to keep this one expanded as well. And then when you turn for this side, we don't lose power, it's not weak. And then this one has power and this one's weak. There's a yin and yang, one is more pronounced than the other, but we should feel like we're expanding in all directions. So there's a power. Wow, it's okay, 9 o'clock. So let's do, before we do any sort of analysis of the Tai Chi form, I just want to practice the first section. And by the way, the form that that I was taught is considered a classical style form. Aaron, you can see Aaron on the screen, was also with TC. So for Aaron and Charlotte and people who have studied, we're going to change the first section just a little bit by taking out 2 of the last bon launch waves. They repeat 3 times, but because we have a limited space. So in every class, I like to do the Tai Chi form, at least the first section, at least 1 time. I'd like to do that now. And then what we're going to do is, without really talking about it too much, then we're going to come back and we're going to see where Tai Chi harmony, the first posture, He Tai Chi, the circular hands, the X-stepping, and the controlled synchronized movement all come together for the form. So let's start. Wow, this is interesting because I'm going to turn this way. So facing, facing forward, we're going to start with the feet together. We're going to bring the hands together in Tai Chi harmony. This is actually very interesting because I've never taught this form on video before. So here we are in R&D. Bring the left foot shoulder width wide. I'm going to go from so that you can see from here. And then let the hands float and sink. You can let your tailbone sink. Imagine that you're sitting in some comfortable water, like a hot tub, your bathtub, if you go to the lake, the ocean, so that everything's relaxed and the hands are floating on the surface of the water. Breathing deep, we're going to draw a circle on one side. And then stepping forward, this is a ward off. Drawing a circle on the other side. Joni, just hang in there. All of these other people have some experience with Tai Chi. So, and then roll back. Join the palms together. Press. Breathing. Draw a large circle. This is push. We have look left, glance right, gather the power. This is Shuang on, double press. From here, shifting back, this is horizontal, split hands. We have hook, stepping to the square shape. This is single whip, very good. Lift hands to up posture. Stepping square and then rolling up. We're going to turn 90 degrees. Crane, opening the wings. So wei, pi pa. Press to the center, square step back. Crane, opening the wings. So wei pi pa lo shi ao bu kan sheng. Lo shi, brush knee. Ao bu, C step, kan sheng, warning palm. One more, brush knee. C step. Palm press to the center. And then from here, this is Bai Song Hua Hue, holding the moon in the chest. Yo Ban Lan Shui. Parry. Punch. Ru Feng Si Bi. This is like closing French doors, one at a time. And then we turn, this is Bao Hu Gui Sheng. Embrace tiger or return tiger to mountain. The hands cross. We punch right and left. And then bring your whole left side, the left hand and left foot, return back to the center. Okay, I'm gonna need two cameras because it's not like when we're at the park or at, in Malibu where I can turn around and see. So basically for the rest of the class, we're gonna be doing a few things. We're gonna break down just the first few postures of the Tai Chi form. We're gonna look at how the alignment works, and we're gonna before the end, we're gonna review the first 10 postures all the way up to the sort of one of the signature movements of Tai Chi, which is hook and whip. Before we do all of that, does anyone have questions? Thoughts, comments? Okay, continuing forward. The first thing that we're doing, this posture, when we talk about He Tai Chi, it's not traditional posture. Every different Tai Chi form is different. But one thing that they all have in common is they all share the same principles. So I teach sort of from several different approaches. I like to teach a lot of Tai Chi principle because I know that you'll study with somebody else. I expect you to. If you like to pursue martial arts, I know that Mark has other teachers, Devin is studying with other teachers, Charlotte is also studying with my teacher. So the principles should be the same everywhere that you go. the alignment, the structure. And we can focus on that. We don't have to focus on the ordering of the form. The other thing that's consistent is the way the power is made. All the principles are the same. The form that Aaron and I were taught is very long form. It's classical, 156 postures, somewhere around there, 155 postures, depending on how you split it. You don't have to learn all of that. We're going to do, like we said, the first 10 postures. So if you can practice that, let's actually do, again, just from the beginning. And I'm going to face this direction. And the other thing I think I can do is, you know, in Malibu, I like to use the Sharpie on the mirror, the dry erase board. I'm going to get one of those, but I think I can also mark my floor with some chalk non-permanently so we can see some things. So from the center, grip your foot, relax your tailbone, extend your head top, keeping everything in the center relaxed. Bring your hands together and then let that whole structure, as if from shoulder to hand and shoulder to hand, like a ring, like a circle, and we can set it directly on top of the straight spinal structure. And so moving out of Tai Chi harmony, we have something called commencement. In the Mandarin, the name for this posture is called Tai Chi, Qi Shi, which means the start of Tai Chi. And this is, if we're talking about this from a martial art, this would be our ready posture. We have grasp the sparrow's tail, like catching a ball on the side, ward off. And then on the other side, left hand, grasp the sparrow's tail. Ward off. The next one, Li, is a roll back. So like you're taking a rope and you like to drag and turn. The next one is press. Push. We have look left, just turning the spine, turning the torso. Glance right. Double press. Split. Hook. And then single whip. And then bring your feet together. Take a deep breath. So this is the first 10 postures. We're going to zoom in again. The first thing, like we said, is commencement. If you look at sort of a traditional Yang style Tai Chi form, when they start, they're opening to the side. So they just have this kind of movement. Because we have this additional posture. By the way, when I study Xingyi Chuan, when I study Baguazhang, when I study other Yang style Tai Chi forms, they all have some type of standing posture. In the Xingyi Chuan, they call it Wuji stance. They also have various other standing postures. So in this, our sort of basic standing posture is He Tai Chi. You don't have to keep the hands here. You can leave them relaxed. But here, there's another function with the way the energy connects to the hands and the xiphoid process, the sternum at the base. So from here, when we're opening shoulder width wide, the first movement has this sort of pressing. Tai Chi, I'll give a quick definition for anybody that doesn't know. Qigong is the process of breath work. So if you study yoga, they have something called pranayama, and prana is the same thing we say for qi, and yama is the work or effort. So qigong is a breath work. The thing that separates Tai Chi from qigong, because Tai Chi is a qigong, but Tai Chi Chuan always has some meaning for self-defense in the movement. If we just turn this silk reeling this way, we can get a health benefit from it, and it will be very good. But if we practice as if we're playing a martial art, there's two people, they like to attack, and so we can press here and also defend in this way. The Qigong now has a martial art application to it, and that makes it Tai Chi Qigong, Tai Chi Chuan Qigong. So the first movement already has a meaning, an application. If I'm standing here minding my own business, let's say I'm standing somewhere, and somebody comes to grab a hold of me, I can simply, this movement pressing here, the hinge of my elbow is very difficult to hold on. When we're in person, when we're in Malibu at the park, we can practice. If Mark or Devin grabs my wrist while I'm here, even if they can hold on, we have the means to change into something else. So this very first one, we're not showing it, it's hidden. And so what is the opening movement? The commencement, if you're practicing Tai Chi for a performance, it's the first time that somebody sees your movement. If you're practicing for a competition, a lot of times the judge, they already give you most of your score just seeing the first few seconds of your movement because it's very clear. So this opening, when we sit, the tailbone is tucked, the head top is up, and then the hands floating. So almost at the same rate that the hip is sinking, the wrist, like somebody has a string, they're pulling on the string this way. The elbow is completely relaxed. The wrist is actually completely relaxed, and the shoulder also. These 3 points. So the center line is moving up and down as such, and then the hands, they're floating, right? You can practice. So if we go from Tai Chi Harmony from the center, take a deep breath, and then calibrate, push the head top. Relax the brow, open the vision, keep the tongue connected to the roof of the mouth, chin is tucked, shoulders rolled back and relaxed, center is supporting, tailbone is hiding, the insides of the hips are folding, knees are relaxed, feet are lightly gripping the ground. Grip your right foot, and then we're going to open, stepping. And from here, this is the beginning of commencement. The tailbone sinks, the wrists float, and then just like floating, let everything. So we have this structure that's built on top of this base. We said everything in Tai Chi is a martial art. So if we're doing a boxing art, they have different fighting stances. A regular Western boxer, they put their guard up this way, right? They don't want to get hit. In Shingi, we have something like this. In Bagua, we may face our opponent backwards, right? In Krav Maga, they use a specific kind of fist, right? This type of various stances. In Tai Chi, the commencement, Tai Chi Chi actually contains our ready stance. If we have the shoulder width wide, if the tailbone is sunk, and the hands are here, right? Doesn't even have to be very expanded. They're just at the ready. So some of TC's students used to nickname this posture Happy Bear. So if you grip your feet and imagine a bear standing on its rear legs, they have to put a lot of power to the back of their neck. And if we turn the waist, we can be ready for something to happen in all directions, especially when we start to connect the movement from the hands. So anything basically from a 180-degree radius, I can turn to intercept, that type of thing. So now let's go back again to Tai Chi Harmony. Take a deep breath. And again, the calibration, just do the top, the middle, and the bottom. If you push up through the head top, relax your tailbone and grip your feet. And then we're gonna open, shoulder width wide. Sink the tailbone while the hands are floating. And then just let everything relax. So here, this is the ready stance. The first posture that we're doing is we assume power is coming to us. So if I turn a little bit, you can stay facing the same direction. If I'm here, if power is coming to my center, we can just move, right? We're going to talk about the Tai Chi principles for how to deal with incoming power. But we're going to imagine that we can catch it. So if you use your left hand, like you're going to punch yourself in the stomach. And as you go to the punch, you're going to use your right hand to circle on the inside and then turn to catch. So as you try to punch yourself, this is a funny one, right? You come from the inside to catch, right? That's the meaning for this movement. So while we're here, the right hand circles, and then the left hand comes underneath. We end up as if we're holding a ball, right? For any of you that have played dodgeball, imagine it's the fancy dodgeball catch to the side, right? We can just catch it this way. Someone throws it to us and just catch, or we can make it something like this. So from the beginning to the first circle, bring the head top up, relax the tailbone, take a deep breath. we're going to open shoulder width wide. Sink the tailbone, let the hands float. And then from here, I'm shifting to my left foot. My right hand draws a full circle, and I catch. If I turn this way, I'll actually do the opposite. I'll mirror it so that you guys can focus. So if I turn my right hand, and then my left hand is just going to come in underneath. And then from here, when I step forward, the hands are going to change, yin and yang. One's rising, the other one's sinking, right? So my posture looking like this. So from the beginning, from a profile, if I'm facing in that direction, I draw a circle to catch, and then step forward to ward off. Right, very clear. This, by the way, this is in the beginning for Tai Chi. This might sound very, very strange, but I've been working for about 15 years, and my legs are now starting to reach the kind of conditioning that I can do things I couldn't do when I was a teenager. So if you practice for some long time, if you listen to what teacher is saying, you can condition your body. The X-stepping, when we do this, is a kind of step that coordinates tendons that are on the outside of the leg that we don't usually use. If we just walk around our culture, everything's at 90-degree angles. So we walk in the sidewalk, and the stairs are 90 degrees, and the corner is 90 degrees. But imagine, we'll go back to some X-stepping and to see what it feels like. Remember when you were a kid, if you ever get a chance to explore somewhere, if you go to the forest or you go to out to the desert, and there's rocks and sticks, and you need to step over them. If I make my square line this way, imagine you have to step to reach the back corner, and then shift your weight into that corner, and then bring your other foot up and over. And then go back to the center step. Activate your foot and establish the root immediately, and bring your other foot. And now this one, grip your foot to the front right corner of the X. Grip, sink the weight, take the space immediately, and then transfer. So now go back, grip your foot, breathing deep. This can be completely relaxed. Front left corner, step over, grip the ground, relax your tailbone. Rear right. Go back to the center. Take a deep breath. So this type of stepping should be very lightweight, but it should also be very secure, very powerful. Another example I like to use, besides if you have to navigate over some very interesting terrain, is when you're trying to be sneaky. If you're a teenager and you have to sneak out, you have to take sort of step in the right places very carefully. The other thing that I want to mention is alignment. When we talk about Tai Chi principles, everything in Tai Chi is based on some type of geometric shape. Earlier, we had looked at the obelisk. So one thing, when we step in Tai Chi, we always have the feet aligned forward. You can put this to practice in your everyday when you go to walk. Because if I just let my feet be lazy like this, it's unaligned, and this can create problems. So Tai Chi is looking for a perfect alignment. We're looking for the perfect structure and the perfect movement. This is why when we see competition, or you see beautiful video of somebody doing some Tai Chi, nobody's fighting this way. Nobody has martial art. But if you can balance on one leg for one split second, right? Just that, you only need to make power. Is it easier to balance for one split second, or is it easier to balance for a long time? It's easier to do it quickly. So when we see people doing Tai Chi, we know that they have a very extreme ability to control their bodies. And that's one of my goals, is to give you the principles that you can take to apply. TC, my teacher, he said, the real value of Tai Chi is when you're in the kitchen when you're in the garage, when you're working, right? We're all around the home right now. So fortunately, we live in a culture where we don't have to defend our property yet, right? But the idea for self-defense is we first start defending ourselves against ourselves. And so what happens is, as we age, right? Devin's favorites, the old man, right? So this, when we practice Tai Chi, we keep the structure and we practice the alignment so that the stress doesn't weigh down on the shoulders, so that the weight of the stress then doesn't create problems in the hip, knee, and ankle. Let's go back to do more Tai Chi. Before we continue, questions, thoughts, comments? Everyone's good. Start with your feet together in the center. And remember the alignment. So for those of you that know the form, when we step, if you see my feet are lined up, even when I step here, when I turn, try to make it as perfect as it can be. You can be sloppy later, but when you practice the calligraphy, you want to try to practice it the best that you can. We're practicing painting. When you go to the bank and you sign it, it's fast. But when you practice at home on your own, take your time and do it the best you can. So, grip your right foot, opening to the side. Let the tailbone settle. The wrists and hands are floating. Head top is up. Breathing deep. Draw a circle on your right side and catch. When you step forward, expand. Ward off. And now on the other side, on the left side, the left hand draws a circle. The right hand comes in to support underneath. We step forward and ward off. Next is roll back. So we open like you're leading something down to the corner. Remember, we talked about that X shape. We're going to come back to examine how that X shape applies to the body. This is press and push. Bring the feet together in the center. Take a deep breath. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left in the class. We can do some questions in a minute. I want to close. Before we do, I want to do a whole bunch of Qigong. So take a little bit of a wider stance. When we say we have shoulder width wide, we can make, this is sort of 4 units, 6 units. We can make it 8 units. In the martial arts, this is called a horse stance, right? When we have something like this. So, but we're going to take about 6, right? So it's not a horse stance and it's not shoulder width wide. And then starting from the center, doesn't matter which way you turn, breathing, inhaling all the way up, let the hands touch at the top, and then turning all the way to the side, exhaling. So now breathing, turning to the other side. And again, the same thing, lock the hips, the knees, and the ankles, they don't turn. So keep your hips, the corners of your hip alignment facing towards the camera. And this is a long breathing, so you can go at your own pace. Keep the tongue connected to the roof of the mouth. What makes something a Qigong? Why don't we just call it exercise? The thing that separates Qigong exercise from regular exercise is we put something in our mind. So I'm not going to put anything in your mind. I want you to put something in your mind. Think of the kind of things that you like to experience, the kind of foods that you like to enjoy, the kind of places that you like to go, the kind of people that you like to meet, the ideals that you hold. So breathing, check to see that you have a half smile and have some intention. You can focus on yourself. You can focus on something else. On this next one, when we turn, when we get to the base, we're going to change direction. So now if you're on the right, left to right, inhaling up, let the fingertips touch the top. Full exhale. Go at your own pace, long breathing. not counting, by the way. So a lot of times I like to keep things balanced and do the same number on either side. I'm not doing that right now because I'm in the zone. If you're OCD and you need to balance it out later, that's okay. We'll do 2 more. Wherever you're at, whatever the speed. On the next one, just go to the center. Leave the hands at the top, and then as if you're pressing down, like you have something very soft, feel the weight of the air under your hands. Feel the chi under your fingertips. We're going to bring the left side back to the right side and bring the hands together in the center. And then let's calibrate another time. We're going to do a little bit of standing meditation. So you can leave the eyes. If you like to close them, you have to leave them at least 1% open. So pushing up through the back of the head top, relax your head and brow, relax your vision. Keep the tongue connected to the roof of the mouth. You can open your nostrils sideways a little bit more to breathe more air. Relax your shoulders. Use your core to support. Use the center. It's very lightly engaged. Tailbone is hiding. Let the weight really sink into the ground. Feel your feet on the ground. Grip your toes. Pronounce the arch. And eyes closed or open, doesn't matter. Move wherever you think your mind is into your belly button. If you put your mind into the navel. In the Mandarin, it's called the Dantian. It means the sea of energy. So all of your energy resides in the center. Take a second internally to smile to your energy. You have a chi. You have an energy that's unique to you. So take a deep breath. And then move wherever you think your mind is in the center up to the middle of your thorax, the middle of your sternum, where your heart is, to the heart chakra. And take a second to smile to your heart. Everyone has one and they're always working. Even if it's not so good, it's working 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. So take a second to smile to your heart. Take another deep breath. And then move your mind one more time, wherever you think it is, up into the third eye, into the center of your brain. And take a second internally, looking inwards, to smile to your brain and to yourself. Take one long, last deep breath. Before we close, anyone have questions?